Even broken hearts can still beat with purpose, you know? Because pain doesn't stop your story, it reshapes it into something deeper and more meaningful than you ever expected, you know? A shattered heart doesn't mean the end of love. It means you've experienced something real enough to leave a mark, worth learning from. And, the cracks in your heart are not weaknesses, they're reminders of how much you're willing to feel, how much you're willing to give, and how much you're willing to believe in something bigger than yourself. Sometimes purpose is born in the quiet aftermath, when everything falls apart and you're forced to rebuild with intention instead of illusion. Even when it hurts to breathe, your heart is still working for you, still pushing you forward, and it's still refusing to give up on your life. A broken heart teaches you what truly matters by stripping away what never did, leaving only what's real and worth holding on to. When you go through heartbreak and stuff like that, and you go through pain and trauma and stuff like that, your heart will show you what truly matters, and it's going to show you what is worth holding on to. And there's strength in continuing to love the world even after has given you reasons not to. There's so many times in my life where I've been treated poorly, but I still, decided to resonate with kindness and to try to treat other people with respect. But yeah, pain, it has a way of sharpening your perspective, helping you see clearly what once felt confusing or out of reach. And you don't have to be fully healed to have purpose. You just have to keep going, even in small, quiet steps. And every scar your heart carries becomes a piece of wisdom you can one day pass on to someone else who feels lost. Even even if your heart's broken, your heart still beats with a rhythm. It's still going to remind you that you're alive and that you're capable of creating something meaningful. And the weight of heartbreak can either bury you or build you. It all just depends on what you choose to do with it. Um, you can learn lessons from that, and you can learn from heartbreak. And when people are unkind to you, it kind of teaches you, oh, you can actually still be kind to other people. It shows you what it's like when you're treated without kindness, so you kind of learn a lesson from that to be more kind to other people and to be nicer to other people. You know? Purpose doesn't wait for perfection. It grows in the middle of your mess. It grows in the middle of your doubts. It grows in the middle of your pain. A broken heart can teach you empathy in a way nothing else ever could. And the moments that hurt the most often shape the parts of you that become the strongest. Even when love leaves, it leaves behind lessons that can guide you towards something better. And your heart doesn't stop working just because it's hurting. It adapts, it learns, and it continues. We're built to adapt and to, be strong through change and stuff like that, and be strong through heartbreak. The pain you feel today can be the reason you show up for someone else tomorrow. Because if you see someone else hurting or you see someone else going through something, you can kind of realize, like, oh, I've been in that moment too. I've felt the exact same way before. And then you can go try to make them feel better, and you can use the lessons you learned from what you went through. You're not defined by who left or what ended. You're defined by how you continue after it. A broken heart is proof that you cared deeply, and that depth is something the world still needs. Not some shallow small talk. Like, really get into the nitty gritty with people and really have those conversations. Healing isn't about forgetting, it's about learning how to carry the memory without letting it control you. Even in your lowest moments, there's still a version of you trying to rise. Even when I'm going through like really tough times and stuff like that, there's a part of me that still wants to, succeed and still wants to accomplish things. And, that person rises up when I go through those things. Purpose can be as simple as getting through the day, even when everything else feels heavy. Every heartbeat is a reminder that your story isn't finished yet. And you don't need to rush your healing. Purpose grows at its own pace. Sometimes the strongest people are the only ones, quietly holding themselves together because, strong people, it doesn't always show on the surface. A lot of strength comes from beneath the surface. Sometimes it feels invisible, but it's there. It's pulling you through. A broken heart can open your eyes to what you truly deserve as well, because when you go through hardship and stuff like that, or someone treating you poorly, you can kind of look for what you do want in people, because the last relationship you were in or the last thing you went through, Shows you, oh my God, I don't want to be like that. I don't want that person treating me that way. And there's power to choose. There's power in choosing to keep going, even when stopping feels easier. Like there's a lot of days where like things are just not going the way that I want them to go, but I push through anyway. And you know that really shows. And with the amount of content I've been posting, you can see that I'm pushing through. And you should do the same. You should always push through when things get hard because, you know, it makes you a stronger person, even through heartbreak and stuff like that. And you can kind of channel your heartbreak into like art and music, or maybe you're like me and you like making commentary videos. I also do music. There is a songs playlist on this channel. I highly recommend you check it out. But, you know, even pain has direction. It can lead you somewhere better if you let it teach you instead of destroy you. And your heart may be bruised right now, or you might be going through heartbreak, but it's still capable of creating joy again. Your heart can still create joy, and you can experience joy and have good moments with your family, your friends, you know, the people that matter to you the most. The lessons learned from heartbreak can become the foundation for a stronger future. And you know, sometimes you're allowed to feel lost and stuff like that, but you know, it's really important to like still be moving forward at the same time, you know? Every tear carries a piece of your healing within it, you know? Sometimes a good cry is all you need. But, you know, purpose doesn't always look like big achievements. Sometimes it's just surviving another day, you know? Even when everything changes, your ability to grow still remains. And a broken heart can teach you how to rebuild yourself from the inside out. And, you know, strength isn't about never breaking. It's about what you do after you do break. You know, do you continue going or do you give up, you know? And I highly recommend that you continue going and continue fighting for who you know you are. And, you know, you carry pain. You can carry pain and still carry purpose alongside it. And the end of one chapter is always going to reveal a path that you never would have seen otherwise. You know, you just have to have that faith and hold on to that hope. And, you know, your heart is a lot stronger than you don't even realize, like, or it's a lot stronger than you do realize. Like, you don't always recognize in the moment, but when you get through those tough times and stuff like that, you can look back and be like, oh my God, I was actually pretty dang strong. I actually got through some good, crazy stuff. You know, and there's beauty in continuing to believe after some major disappointment or something that you've gone through. And even when love hurts, you know, it proves your capacity to feel deeply. And that's a strength, not a flaw. And, you know, purpose can come from turning your pain into something that helps others. And that's what I do. You know, I've gone through a lot, and I just kind of turn what I do into something that can benefit others. I do have a lot of like life stories and memories that I posted to this channel. If you go back far enough, and I highly recommend you do that if you want to learn about my life and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for this one. Just know, you know, that your story matters, even in the parts that hurt the most. And never give up. And you know, even through heartbreak, you can still make it. You can still get through, and you can still, you know, pursue the things you want to pursue and pursue the feelings that you want to have in your life. But that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next one.